Are you ready to go deep, deep diving into the Deepkin with the Andy and Rem show? It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on a Tuesday night. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and everything else that is cool. We're talking about Warhammer Fantasy. It's easy to learn the rules. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on a Sunday night. Back on a Sunday, back on a Sunday, back on a Sunday night.
There we go. Got it right at the second attempt. Sunday night this time. So, welcome one and all, the Andy and Rem Show, episode 99. I think we've been saying for the last 6 months or so that we're only days away from episode 100, but it looks like we may actually get there at this rate. If we carry on the way we're going, we will get there towards the end of next month.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you know that. Welcome, Andy. To your show. Welcome to your show, Andy, featuring me.
that is the way of things, yes. Shall we see who's in the audience tonight before we get rolling? Let's see who's in the official participants list. We have the likes of Caspian Klassen, Dave Doge, Demon_Lizard_From_Outer_Space, Dice Miniature Paint Guy, Edwin Deswart, Graham Rigg, Jones Yarney, Josh Joyce, Mickey Jenver, Nick Trajano, and Sean Blake. And there were a few other people commenting away earlier whose names haven't popped up because they haven't said anything in the last few minutes because they were waiting for you to tune up your instrument for quite a while now. About the last 10 minutes or so, you were working on that thing, getting rid of the excess rust. It has been a month. So what have you been doing during the past 30 days or so?
I've been getting a new job.
Bum, bum, bum.
I've been selling a whole army of beastmen.
Bum, bum, bum.
I've been painting an army of vampire count / undead / night haunt.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I've been practicing my Russian. Yes. You may not know, but I used to live in Russia. And I can speak a few good words.
Would you like to give us a few good words now? Preferably good ones, not bad words.
Что ты хочешь? Я говорю по-русски язык. Я могу чуть-чуть русский. Я жил в Беларуси 10 год назад.
I agree.
So there you go. You might think I'm a Russian spy now, with all the scandal going on. But yes, I've been doing all
you could be.
I've been doing all that. I've been. I tell you what. I was umming and ahhing almost for years about selling part of my miniatures, but it hasn't put me off the game. It's just sort of it's like spring cleaning, isn't it? It's like, get rid of the old in with the new.
What have you actually managed to sell?
I sold 190 miniatures of my Beastman army from 8th edition.
Was that the entire army in one go?
Yes. It was, and it features in some of our classic battle reports. In fact, this army was never defeated.
Is that a fact?
At least it was never defeated by you.
Okay, so there's a slight asterisk on there. Where did this army travel to then? Where have you sent it to?
I did. There were some people in Australia that were interested in it, but in the end, it was a 9th edition player from London that bought it as it came. So I wrapped it really. You won't believe my packaging skills was unbelievable. Every single miniature precisely and carefully packed in bubble wrap, in fitted boxes. It was just, the packing itself was a work of art.
So if one slight piece of potpourri has gone astray in there. You'd be very surprised, would you?
I did warn the guy that there would be bits of basing that could come loose, but he didn't seem to mind. Yeah, so I was well chuffed about that, and
I hope you got a good price for it in the end.
I didn't get as much as I initially wanted, but I got 3 times more than what it cost me to build.
Well, that's pretty good then, because often when you try and sell painted miniatures, unless you find the perfect buyer who wants it in the exact state you've painted it in that style, you often end up having to settle for less, don't you? Because people want their own army to put their own stamp on, so half the time they buy these things and then just paint strip them, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I made sure it was as complete as I could do it, because, I mean, for years, my armies were partially completed or 90% complete. So since Christmas, I made the vow of finishing my armies. So that's what I've been doing. I've been just, putting on the finishing touches, trying to get nice photographs. I bought a lighting box. I bought a lighting box so I can get better pictures. And then, of course, when you take those pictures, you see all the faults you didn't recognise before. So I was touching all those up. And, I've been painting my Daughters of Cain now. I had a lot of those miniatures anyway, but they're all on square bases. So I've decided to put them on round bases. And, just been doing that. Finished my Snake Girls. And
yes,
now
we've got some pictures of those coming up a bit later.
Yeah, and now I'm on the Harpy ones. Not decided whether to go javelins or hand weapon scythe thing. So
people will be making a gif out of that, don't worry.
Yeah. What about you, Andy? What have you been up to, pal?
Well, what have I been up to? Let's have a look. I've got something here I could show you that I've been up to, which isn't Age of Sigmar related at all, but it is halflings riding on. Let's see if I can get it to focus on them.
Oh,
halflings riding on chickens related. There we go. It's actually focusing on his plump little face there.
Are they the White Knight miniatures?
These are from the Assault group.
Yeah. They're the White Knight miniatures, man. That's so cool, bro. I was going to get some of those. What do you think of them?
I think they are incredibly tasty. You'd think with really long metal spears that they'd be really spindly and breakable, wouldn't you? But they're actually quite tough and sturdy, which I'm impressed with. So I'm putting those together for my undead halfling army for Kings of War. So they're going to be painted in kind of a ghostly scheme.
Were they free?
Well, it depends what you mean by free. If you mean did any money exchange hands, then the answer would be money did not exchange hands. But if you mean was it a trade of goods for physical and emotional work, then yes, that's exactly how it was. It was that kind of transaction, the kind of transaction that you are a stranger to.
What do you mean by that, Andy?
Well, it seems that you haven't necessarily been sought out by all these companies to promote their products because your channel is, shall we say, a barren wasteland of content.
Yeah, I put my powers into bigging your channel up. That's what it is. I need to go solo. That's what I need to do.
You need to bring back at least a monthly episode of Remington's Pillow Talk, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah,
or maybe one of those episodes where you look at pictures of things while hiding in the bushes outside someone's house whispering.
I've got to admit, I've not been a stranger to Age of Sigmar comings and goings. I've been watching all of the channels, and people have got to make better shows, man. I mean, I'm getting bored with some of the stuff out there. I'm sorry. I'll just say how it is. There's what we do is obviously awesome, but I want to see some more like fun stuff going on. It's like I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it in a minute.
Do you think that ever since points were introduced into Age of Sigmar, since then you can trace a steady decline of the amount of fun in there? And some people perhaps have been sucking the fun out of Age of Sigmar, do you think?
Big time. It's become all flipping like, best units, best flipping, best builds, this build, that build, this meta, that meta. I can't keep up with it all. It's bloody ridiculous. It's like it's getting just how 8th edition was, and it's getting too elitist. Far too elitist. For those of us that are more hobby based, we need to get our heads from out of the parapet and let's start doing our thing.
I've been technically working on some Age of Sigmar stuff as well because I've got some Griffhounds somewhere over there who are just waiting to be primed at the moment. So a little bit of Age of Sigmar progress there as well.
So can you get some of them halfling rooster riders to me somehow? Because the thing is, I've actually got a halfling army.
Well, I have actually got 2 left over.
Oh, wow. Wow,
So
wicked. That'd be awesome.
You could probably have them because I've got 10 of them. I could only fit 4 on each base for the unit I want to use them as, so I've got 2 left.
Oh, that'd be mega. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
So I'm sure that can provide some grade A content for your channel as well.
Yeah. Well, that's one army I won't be parting with, is me halflings, you know?
You can't part with halflings. As you know, everyone does love a halfling.
You know that.
I think people would like to see a video on your armies, one on each, in their current state, rather than just taking all these lovely pictures.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll get on that. It's just been a really, really incredibly stressful year for me at work, so I made the decision to make a move. So in July, I'll be leaving my job, and I've got a new job in being a university lecturer. Can you believe that?
So you're basically upgrading on the age of people that you're speaking at.
Yeah. The age and the quality of the kind of things I'll be teaching, maybe. I'm hoping. Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot less stressful, I hope, and I'm going to get more time on my hands to do this kind of silly stuff.
Well, a more mature audience. Does that mean that there may be potential viewers of this show that you'll be lecturing to? You never know.
You never know.
More likely than younger children.
You never know. And the other good thing is I'm going to be working in Nottingham at Nottingham Trent University. So I'll be just a stone's throw from Warhammer World. So I'll be there. I'll be there outside the hallowed grounds.
Not that we'd recommend throwing stones at Warhammer World from anywhere around Nottingham, though.
Probably being ignored by the powers that be, but you never know.
Well, it depends what you mean by ignored, because they don't acknowledge you as such, but they do acknowledge you in subtle ways, for example, by ripping off all your ideas and launching them as products.
Yeah, you betcha, man. You betcha. But we've got some of our own insiders there now. I'm talking about you, Amy Snugsy. You know, we've got people that made their name off this show, now making a living from Games Workshop itself. And
entirely based on the fame from appearing on this show.
This show starts careers.
We build careers, we improve lives. We had a mission statement when we started out with this show, and I feel like we've improved enough people's lives to have accomplished all our initial goals. Not that we're stopping, though. There are more people out there who we can help.
Exactly.
And we can pass some of our light onto them.
We're also reviving careers, Andy, because we've been in contact with Mr. Reef Beastman, and he's going to appear on one of our shows in the very near future. He's promised, maybe for 100th episode. Who knows?
Well, that would be interesting, because he's been off the radar for quite a while, hasn't he, from the community?
Yeah. But I've had a really good chat with him. He's doing a lot of Napoleonic games at the minute, and he's still got lots of war, still doing lots of Age of Sigmar stuff too. So there you go. But yeah.
Excellent. So, I suppose if you're going to tell us all about your job that's upcoming, I suppose I should tell you what else I've been up to. So, let's see if I've got anything else miniature related around here. Well, I can show you totally unrelated things that aren't anything to do with fantasy. I mean, look at this. We've got a dog from Dead Zone, which is being worked on at the moment, which, let's see if we can focus on that. Oh, is it going to do it? Yes, there we go. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? It's a dog. So that's the only piece of non-fantasy stuff I think we can show you on here without getting instant dislikes. We did actually get one dislike before the show went live, though.
I love it. Who did that?
I don't know. People suspected it might be you trying to tune up your instrument and hitting the wrong button. Now, I can officially announce that I have entered month 11 of my exercise every single day, no days off program. What do you think about that? So I could call myself the exercise beast now.
Every day's a day off for you, isn't it?
No days off from exercise.
What sort of exercise?
Well, nothing too crazy before people get any ideas about me, like lifting 3,000 pounds down at the gym or anything. We're talking like exercise bike, press ups, that kind of thing.
What if I got you a strongman outfit? That might help.
I'd need a nice curly mustache to go with it as well, wouldn't I?
I'd love to see you in one of them, Andy. It'd be awesome. I'd pay to see you in one of those, actually.
How much is the question?
50 quid.
We'll have to think about that one. How much would people in the audience pay to see that? Let's hear about it now. Come on.
So, we're ignoring the fact, Andy, that, Age of Sigmar has taken some leaps and bounds in the last few weeks, nay, months.
Well, has it really taken leaps and bounds, or has it kind of taken dives, not down in quality, down to the depths of the sea? So, yeah. Shall we have a look at some of this juicy new stuff?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, there's so much stuff on YouTube already, isn't there? It's gone through all the rules, done the war scrolls, done all the pictures, but not like we do.
No, not with the sense of style and entertainment that we bring to the table. So we're on the new releases page here. So let's start off with the Battle Tome, Idoneth Deepkin. Is it Idoneth or Idoneth?
Or even Idoneth.
Have they clarified that yet?
I think it's Idoneth. I'd say it's Idoneth.
Let's have a go at the description here, and I'm going to read it in quite pleasant tones, I think. From outer blackness they come, emerging from the depths of the realm's seas upon a surging tide of magic. These merciless raiders do not seek merely to slaughter or enslave, however, for they are the Idoneth Deepkin. They have come to take their victims' very souls. They bring them with their magic of their kingdoms, an ether sea of rolling currents and crushing pressures. In their passing, the Idoneth leave ruin, death, and sleepers that will never awaken, victims whose souls have been stolen. Retreating beneath the waves, the Idoneth return to the utter isolation of the depths. So, that sounds quite bleak, doesn't it? They emerge from their underwater abodes, they suck the souls out of people, and then just go home and leave those soulless husks on the surface.
It'd be nice to see like a picture of someone getting their soul sucked out. What does that look like?
I would imagine it would look like, have you seen The Dark Crystal?
No, I only remember the scene where all the nice guys are sort of disappearing.
Well, if you've seen that, they have a process where they remove the essence from the gelflings.
Oh, yes, the gelflings.
And then they kind of go white-eyed to signify the fact that they no longer have souls. So I could imagine it being like that, the soul suckage process.
So that would the Idoneth be completely ineffective against undead then?
Well, I'm sure their soul-sucking powers may be ineffective against anything that doesn't in fact have a soul, but it depends what you mean by ineffective, because they don't necessarily have to suck the soul out of something to kill it. They can still just cut it to pieces and then go on and take somebody else's soul.
I'd like to see, what their world looks like actual Idoneth buildings under the sea.
Perhaps there's something in the book that could tell us a bit more information on that. Right, let's have a look at some of the models. Well, there is the paint collection. If you want to pay £67.20 for a pile of paints there, many you probably already have.
Some of them colours look really close to existing colours.
They have got some brand new colours, which we'll get to when we scroll down this page in a minute.
Okay.
But let's have a look at this guy. The Eidolon of Mathlan. Has he got a 360? He must have a 360. There we go. Remington's favourite dance move, the 360. Here we go. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, Danny Ashby's back. Hello, Danny. Nice to see you.
Just in time to see some wonderful fishy goodness here.
Wow, yeah. When I first saw this model, you gotta admit it's flipping awesome, isn't it? No, I've not seen anything like this kind of thing, right? Have you?
Definitely not to this extent. You can see that they've been heading this way for a few years, though. The models are becoming been getting more and more intricate. You saw it first with the models like, I believe it was a necromancer that had a cloak that was kind of blowing off into the breeze in a very three-dimensional way. And this is the natural evolution of that kind of design work, isn't it? I mean, look at this nonsense. There's fish all over the place.
That's really good.
That is the most moist cloak I've ever seen in my life. And I've been out in the rain and seen people wearing cloaks before. Look at this. It just becomes the sea.
I know. You don't need a shield against these guys. You just need an umbrella.
An umbrella might help, but I'm not sure whether it would help against these little critters here. Like they could chew right through an umbrella. They can skin an umbrella down to the frame in seconds.
He's awesome. So, do you know about the background of this race?
Well, do you want to give us a bit of background while we're looking at this beautiful 360?
Yeah, so it seems one of the major characters of the old world, if you like Teclis and what's the other one? Tyrion. Two brothers, high elven brothers. And you got Morathai and you got Malekith. These have now become more like godlike figures, if you like. And Teclis, being the kind of Dr. Frankenstein, if you like, had good intentions in rebuilding the High Elf race. And the followers of Mathlan were one of the last High Elf races to have been killed during the end times, sucked up and eaten by the god Slaanesh. And Teclis managed to revive or suck out from the clutches of Slaanesh the last remaining souls and breathe new life into them and created a new race called the Idoneth, except there's something really wrong with them. And Teclis basically, disavowed them, or said, no, his creation's not completely right. And the Idoneth sort of ran away from him and created their own civilization and turned their backs on him as a god and developed their own sort of society under the water. Except there was a problem. They soon realized that they were cursed and that almost 1 in 100 or 1 in 200 of them would survive, whereas the rest would die very quickly after being born. And they realized there was a defect. Yes, so they managed to use all their magics to find a way to prolong their race. And they did that by sucking the souls of people that they capture in battle. So their warriors are called Namati. They're basic warriors, and they all have an insignia inscribed on their foreheads, which shows that they're sort of half souls, if you like. So this is a race fighting for its very survival. It's not fighting for fighting's sake or anything else. It's literally just fighting to keep itself going. And what's happened with Teclis and Tyrion, we don't know. Maybe they've been successful and created a race of beautiful golden angel elves. And perhaps that's the next faction we're going to see. But these guys are the underwater Frankensteins, if you like, of Age of Sigmar. And what you're watching there is an avatar of Mathlan himself. So he can be sort of... Does he get summoned? Or I'm not sure if he gets summoned or... Well, he's their most powerful being, I suppose. And so that's a sort of effigy of him.
Shall we have a look at his war scroll?
Yeah, let's do that. Everything... Their basic mechanic as an army is based on the tides of the sea. And they get bonuses as the ebb and flow changes throughout the game.
Well, I'll give you a bit of a dramatic intro of his description here. Protectors of the Idoneth Deepkin, the Eidolons of Mathlan are summoned spirit forms in the shape of a fallen sea god. In its aspect of the sea, an Eidolon of Mathlan is a majestic phantom that harnesses the mystic bounty of the oceans, its magic able to lull the foe asleep, heal wounded Idoneth, or send the enemy fleeing beneath a wave of purest terror. Oh,
Ooh.
sounds like one of your concerts. Well, 10-inch move, 12 wounds, 3+ save. Pretty much what you'd expect from a big dude floating on a sea cloak with fish swimming around him. And let's have a look here. So 15-inch range on one of the attacks here. D3 of those. Looks pretty tasty. Melee weapons. That looks pretty tasty as well. 3 of those attacks. But I imagine this thing's all going to be all about the special rules, isn't it? So let's have a look at some of those, shall we? Abilities. Dormant energies. You can reroll a casting roll for this model in each hero phase. Okay, then. If you do not reroll a casting roll, you can just heal D3 wounds instead, which is nice. Tranquility of the Abyss. Add 3 to bravery characteristics of friendly Idoneth Deepkin units within 9 inches. So, again, very tasty. Magic. It's got some spells here. Cloying Sea Mists. So, casting value of 6. If successfully cast a unit within 12 inches, it's visible to the caster. If the unit's a friendly Idoneth Deepkin unit, you can heal D3 wounds on that unit. So more healing, or the Tsunami of Terror. Casting value of 7. Enemy unit, D6 enemy units within 12 inches of the caster, and subtract 1 from hit rolls made for those units, and 1 from the bravery of those units. So it's a nice buffing, healing machine, while also being able to dish out a fair bit of damage by the looks of things here.
And it doesn't get worse by being wounded, like nearly every other monster in the game.
No, he's not quite monster. He's almost the size of some of the really big stuff, and he's almost the price of some of the really big stuff, but he doesn't have some of the drawbacks.
Mm-hmm.
He can fly, of course, as well. Well, very nice indeed. Shall we go to the next new release?
Mm-hmm.
Shall we look at... Well, that was the aspect of the sea. Shall we look at the aspect of the storm now and see how that one differs?
Yeah, I think the storm is more fighting, right?
Well, let's find out. See if this one's more of a killing machine. So this one is all close range. It doesn't have the shooty attack. And let's have a look at the special abilities here. So, crashing upon the foe. Reroll hit rolls of 1 and add 1 to the damage characteristic of the Futhtar, the Spear of Repressed Fury, if you've charged in that turn. If the model can charge in the same turn that it made a retreat move. Oh, that's nice as well. So even if you're locked in combat, you can still get this bonus by retreating and then charging in again. And heal D3 wounds when it makes a charge move. So again, with the self-healing there. Drench with Hate, re-roll wound rolls of 1 for friendly Deepkin units within 9 inches. And Pulled into the Depths. Starts the combat phase, pick an enemy hero with a wounds characteristic of less than 8. Subtract 1 from hit rolls for that hero for the rest of that combat phase. Special rules don't seem as exciting, but the combat abilities, 4 attacks, which is more than the other guy had. I think he only had D3, didn't he? And lots of damage being dished out, wounding on a 2+, so pretty tasty all around there, I would say. So yeah, this does seem like the fighty one, but they both have various buffing abilities, which is nice. What do you think of that? Do you think this one is as good as the other?
I don't really care. I mean, I like the way this one looks better than the other one because you can see
You
more
prefer
of his
the
face.
look with the helmet?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, I mean, he looks a little bit sort of like a Chinese hero from one of these like Chinese movies. You know, these Chinese war movies you get. He looks like one of the heroes of that. I think.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that. Slightly different fish layout on his base, I think, as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
do you think this race is fishy enough? I mean, because we've been talking fishmen for bloody ages. They're not really fishmen, are they?
I don't think they're fishy enough. I think they could have perhaps had like a slave species of hideous mutated fish things.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Yeah, and I mean, I want more squids, more octopi.
Shall we have a look at the Namati thralls now? Let's have a look. You mentioned these before, didn't you?
Yeah. A lot of people have been saying. I've been watching ton of like unboxing videos. They really are very impressed with these miniatures in the flesh, so to speak.
No eyes, of course, which is handy for people that don't like painting eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, we've got quite a lot of armies that don't really have eyes, haven't we? We've got the Stormcast that you can get away without painting eyes. The Caradron Overlords don't have any visible eyes. Now we've got these, so maybe the miniature designer just doesn't like eyes. Conspiracy theory there.
No, I mean, are you going to get this army? You're not really into elves, are you?
Well, you never know, maybe one day, but not at present. Why, what do you think? Do you think you're going to grab some of these suckers?
No, what I do, I managed to resist just getting them in when all the build-up was coming. I think in the couple of weeks while they're coming out or just before they come out, that's the bit where you could get real tempted to get into it. But no, I'm only going to get into stuff I'm actually going to really paint up the whole army. So I'm waiting, really. I'm waiting. I'm still working on a couple of armies at the minute. So, yeah. But I like the ship. We'll come to that in a bit.
We will. Danny Ashby says the law says they can have many other kinds of bound beasts, so they might add more later. So that would be interesting. If there is a huge outcry for fishmen, then you never know. So the Namati Thralls, the core infantry of the Idoneth Deepkin, the Namati Thralls advance into battle brandishing an array of vast two-handed weapons known as Yanmari Blades. Despite the Namati's blindness and the heft of their blades, they spin, whirl, and chop with elven grace. The warriors are equally adept at engaging enemy monsters as they are at attacking massed ranks. So, let's see what special ability they have. Because you can see everything is pretty standard here. A couple of attacks, 1 damage each, 1 wound, 5+ save, so these are going to be more expendable troops. Sweeping blows, add 1 to the attack characteristic. If all of the attacks made with weapon target enemy with wounds characteristic of 1, add 1 to the damage. If all the attacks are targeted at enemy with wounds characteristic of 4 or more. So, you want to tie these guys up with anything that has 2 or 3 wounds, don't you?
Yeah, that's a decent hit and wound roll. 3+3+, it's awesome.
Yep, you just don't want them fighting against your 1 wound or 4 or more wound models, really. That's when they are going to thrive. So there's going to be some strategy there with the matchup that they can get into. Okay. Moving on. There's some new Shadespire stuff here. And here we go. The Etheric Vortex Gloontide Shipwreck. £25. This is what you're excited about, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm getting this, but I'm not going to be painting it as a sort of a death ship. A ghost ship. I'm going to be painting it as a beached up Empire ship, or even I might stick it together and put it on big wheels and make it into a Marienburg land ship. That's my thoughts.
That would be interesting. It would kind of be a wrecked land ship, wouldn't it?
yeah. Or I always had this idea of my Dark Elves coming off the beach and, having a big ship behind them as in a diorama. So I might work on that. I'd have to change the Sigmar thing. I think it would have been nice if they give you a couple of options for the figure at the front of the ship.
I was thinking that. It's really only that Sigmar-looking dude with the hammer, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if they could have done something a bit more neutral. You could do some
conversion work there, though.
Yeah.
You could put whatever kind of torso you want on there and then just paint it as a statue.
Yeah, I guess you could, yeah. You could even put a horned rat on the front of it, couldn't you?
I think the price point on this thing is correct as well, because often you'll see a piece and you'll think, that's really nice, but it's too expensive. With this, even if you don't want an army where you can really use it as part of that, you'd just buy it as just a piece of terrain for any kind of table, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You can have shipwrecks ending up anywhere, especially in Age of Sigmar.
You could buy a whole bunch of them and have a whole shipyard, couldn't you? I don't know. There's all sorts of things you could do with it. Yeah, I think it's pretty. I've been waiting for something like this for yonks, so I think it's high time, high tide for it.
Shall we
A
look
lot
at
of
the
people,
rules then?
yeah,
Let's see what it can do. So, as I said, though, even if you're not a Deepkin player, I could still see people picking this up just to use as purely terrain. Because I think it's probably going to give bonuses to the Deepkin. Yes, it will here. So roll the dice each time a wound or mortal wound is allocated to a Deepkin unit wholly within 6 inches. On a 6+, it's negated, so basically gives the unit a ward save, as it were. And at the start of the hero phase, roll a dice for each unit within 3. Not wholly within 3, just within 3. Let's see. Do not roll for Idoneth Deepkin units. On a 4+, the unit suffers a mortal wound. On a 6+, they suffer D3 mortal wounds. So it only affects non-Deepkin units. So if you just hang out by this, you'll be getting a save, and enemies that want to come nearby to attack you are risking taking mortal wounds just from being near this ship. So that's pretty tasty.
yeah.
But I'd be really tempted to get one of these at some point and just paint it as a piece of terrain without even having a Deepkin army.
Would you make it ghostly?
I'm not sure. I'd possibly look at how those kind of old wooden ships actually look when they're at the bottom of the sea and see if that's something that would look decent, attempting to replicate that.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, there's a lot of chat going on about wood elves and whatnot, and what the fourth race of elves. Are we on the fourth race now, or third race? We've got the Daughters of Cain, got the Deepkin, and then you've got obviously Sylvaneth. Does Sylvaneth really count as elves?
Well, they're kind of elf tree hybrids, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, for that reason, I can't see wood elves ever getting a look in now. And this leads me on to a point. I've just been rewatching Lord of the Rings, right? Lord of the Rings trilogy. And you just realise how heavily Games Workshop, all their products, apart from 40k, were based around Lord of the Rings. Wood elves, high elves, dwarves, the whole lore really.
Hey, what about Beastmen?
Yeah, well, Beastmen and Bretonnians, they may be slightly different. But it's like Age of Sigmar is really its own thing now, completely its own thing. So I don't think they're ever really gonna look into the old stuff anymore. I think it's gonna get phased out proper. It already is, isn't it? So someone who loves all the Lord of the Rings inspired armies, I don't know what's going to happen to them really. They're just going to be kind of compendium stuff, right? So I
most likely.
Yeah, so I don't see Wood Elves as ever coming back. I can see, there's if they bring a new race of elves out and they're these sort of beautiful angelic elves, they're not going to bring any more races out of elves after that.
Well, you never know. There's all kinds of things they can do with elves.
Yeah, but I don't think they will.
Well, I think we'd do something different next. Definitely, we've just had 2 big elven releases, haven't we?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's probably going to be something chaosy, but if you look at the way all these new armies have come out, they're kind of based on scenery. I mean, you've got you got the ogres. They're based on ice. You've got the forests as the Sylvaneth. You've got the sea as the Deepkin. What other types of terrain we got left? We've got sand. I mean, I suppose that was Tomb Kings.
We've got fire slayers with fire and lava.
Yeah, you've got air. You've got the sky dwarves, haven't you? What's left?
There's one for the chat. What is left? What element or aspect of Earth would you like to see put into an army? Right, let's have a look at Lotan, Warden of the Soul Ledgers. So, of course, he has this giant monstrosity behind him assisting with his scroll work, which is very handy, and it's also holding a couple of weapons for him as well.
This is awesome. Yeah, how you've got like the Griff Hounds for the Stormcast. I think they should do like a similar thing, but with octopi, and this guy could be controlling them like an animal handler. So you have about you get a box and you get 6 of these sort of squid creatures that are, you know what I mean, kind of like.
I think
Like.
people would definitely go nuts and buy those, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
because these are amazing creatures.
Yeah, love it. Or just anything with tentacles is a winner, isn't it?
Well, that's your motto. Let's have a look at his war scroll then while we're here. So, he can attack people with his bone quill.
His bone quill? What does he poke them with it?
Maybe he writes rude messages on them. Well, yes, that's effectively all he is doing because it wounds on a 5+ and he does 1 damage. So, yeah, really, you are just going to be writing rude messages on them.
Yeah, I was going to flick ink in their faces.
Pretty much. Named the Warden of the Soul Ledgers, Lotan marches to war with every Idoneth enclave, not only his own Iron Rack. So great is his willpower, so vast is his desire to collect souls that it manifests itself in the Ether Sea. This mystic cloud inspires all Idoneth Deepkin, but especially Namarti, who will fight with renewed vigour in Lotan's presence. So I'm assuming his special rules benefit Namarti very much. So let's see. Add 1 to bravery characteristic of friendly Deepkin units, and reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly Namarti units while they are wholly within 12 inches. So you're getting your bravery up pretty damn high if you have this guy's boost and the other character that boosted it by 3 nearby as well. So lots of synergy going on here.
Only a 6-up save, though.
Yeah, this guy is not really built for fighting by the looks of it. Although he does have a few attacks with the Octar's weapons. Writhing Tentacles. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or mortal wound to this model. On a 5+, the wound is negated. So yeah, there you go. He's got a bit more survivability than you would think, considering he's only got a 6+ save. And he only has to be within 12 inches as well. So you don't have to keep him right on the front lines. So that's nice. So he sounds all right. Let's see what's next. On to the next page. More Shadespire stuff. War Scroll cards, which are very nice, except I'm sure they haven't corrected what I consider to be a terrible error, which is the alignment, where they could have it spun the other way slightly so that you could actually read the text, but instead they have this huge gap at the bottom of the War Scroll instead, which means the text is tiny. So if you have poor eyesight, they're not ideal.
Do they do that so you can, what do you call them? Not stack them, but you sort of put them on top of each other? You just read the top bit.
Well, why not just make them half the size?
Don't know.
Mr. Remington does not have an answer to that one. Okay. Now, they have got some excellent dice, though, that look like ice cubes. So when I say excellent, I mean never use these against me because we can't see what the numbers are. I mean, look at that. Even the picture they show you, you can see the number underneath the dice. How are you ever going to be able to tell quickly what these numbers are? These just seem really, really poorly thought out, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think they're all right.
They look fine, but actually using them in the game, I think it's going to be troublesome because you can see through them and it's just swirls.
Yes, maybe they should just have done them in black. I mean, black instead of blue. You can always paint into the crevice, can't you?
I mean, but look at this, though. You roll the skull, okay, but when you don't roll the skull, you can still see it through to the other side. And it's quite prominent. So
yeah. Only under strong lighting, though, and if you've got a white background.
And yes, the top right is a 3 for the people asking there. So yeah, I think it's a nice idea having these like ice cube style dice, but I think in practice they may be terrible. I'm not a fan. It's a shame because they do look really cool.
Yeah, it seems like each you've got You've got like Stormcast, and they seem to have like an ever-growing roster of stuff, and yet you see other races like Fire Slayers and the Sky Dwarves and the Idoneth and the Sisters of Cain, Daughters of Cain, and they've got like 10 or 12 different choices, and that's it. You know what I mean? It seems like they're going for like a similar number of unit choices.
They're getting all the races out there, and then
Yeah.
hopefully over the next few years they'll start adding to them. Like they'll do a new wave of Fire Slayers, hopefully at some point, and then all the other armies will get something. But yes, they are heavily focused on Stormcast and Khorne, Bloodbound, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're so specific. Like what would you add to them? What would you add to Fire Slayers? You've got a monster, you've got shooty dwarves.
There's plenty you could do. You could have smaller monsters, like mini magma droths, with people riding on them. You could have other kinds of fire beasts.
Yeah.
You could have some longer range troops.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff you could do.
Now check out these colours. I mean, the one at the front looks just like Rakarth Flesh.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't it? The one on the left looks just
Drakenhof
like
Nightshade is obviously a pre-existing colour.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does it tell us that any of them are new?
Yeah, Deepkin Flesh, that's new.
It doesn't say that they're new specifically. Have they just relabeled any of the old paints here? Or are they?
That's a good point.
Or are they new original shades that are slightly different? Does anyone know that?
There was Flayed One Flesh, wasn't there? That looks very similar.
The one at the back is Rakarth Flesh, so apparently that's old as well. Yeah. But these two are new.
All right.
Ironrack Skin and Deepkin Flesh must be the two new ones. Well, if you want to paint the skin of those wonderful creatures, and you want to save yourself a few clicks, I don't know if you actually save any money buying a paint bundle like this. Probably not. And that is the last of it. So yeah, those are the two new ones. What do you think of that first wave? We haven't got the giant turtle yet, or the shark riders.
No, there's another hero on a giant seahorse.
Yep, that'll be coming as well, probably in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's already out, isn't it? Oh. I don't know. I see so many people have seemed to have advanced models on YouTube. Half of them already painted them.
That is a thing, actually, isn't it? They never send anything to me, GW, of course.
Probably just, I don't know. We're probably too left wing, ain't we? Probably
I think my channel is too diverse in its game systems. I know Games Workshop like to reward the people that have the dedicated Age of Sigmar podcasts, in which mentioning any other game system is treated the same way as blasphemy. But on my channel, of course, there are multiple game systems covered, so I don't know if GW would be down with that. And of course, on your channel, no game systems are covered at all.
Nasty. It's so nasty.
Apparently, the turtle is up for pre-order next weekend.
Andy, what's that? By the way, Andy, has your hair changed again?
Has it really?
Has it just grown back? I can't remember what you look like. It's been so long.
It grew back to about this level, and then I cut it again because I decided, you know what, I'll have an extra month or two of short hair before it starts getting back to its full luxury style.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever thought of dyeing it?
I have not.
Full orange.
I draw the line at orange hair because I value my soul. And you've got to take care of your soul nowadays as well, with these Deepkin coming around just sucking them out of everybody.
Yeah, you do.
Before we move on to anything else, actually, let's have a look at this, because on the old Warhammer community page, just got this here. So there's the giant turtle, which is going to be available very soon. And we've actually got a snippet of one of the rules here. Let's see. Idoneth Deepkin units are treated as being in cover while they are wholly within 12 inches of any friendly Ankylian Leviatons. So there you go. next week for pre-order.
How much are these going to be then, do you think? 60 quid?
The turtle, I think it'll be more than that. I think we're looking at more like Stardrake price.
What was about £85, wasn't it?
About 90-ish, somewhere around there. I think we're looking at for this bad boy, because the wave cloak dude was 65, wasn't he? And this is bigger.
Is it? Yeah.
It's got more mass to it, at least. It may not be technically as long.
The thing is about this giant turtle, it just doesn't look like a fighting monster. It's like, what's he gonna do? Just like go on you?
He could extend his neck very slowly towards you.
What's he gonna do? Lick you?
And then retreat into his shell.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can't even retreat into his shell and then like roll towards the enemy because it's not round enough, and there are people on the back of it, so that would be hazardous.
Yeah. I don't know. I would have preferred them to be on a giant octopus. It makes sense, doesn't it? Because they could you don't need to have one of those things holding it up in the air, because it could just already be in the air on its tentacles, couldn't it?
Well, a giant octopus with 8 attacks, obviously.
Yeah, with a howdah on top.
It is very tasty, though. It's got someone playing the drums there.
Yeah,
some kind of bolt thrower. 2 bolt throwers. Anything else interesting? Oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's
to order Dark Elves? Any interest in these from you?
Oh, let's have a look.
So
I've got a bit of a delay here. Let me just see what
some of these old classic Dark Elf models are going to be in the made to order section soon.
Yeah, I've got him already. I've got him. What else is there? Got her.
Looking very naked there.
What else have I got? Yeah, I don't really want him.
And them?
I've got them. The Man Flayers. I just finished paying. How much are they going for?
It remains to be seen. They should be on there next week, I think. And this guy.
Yeah, he's not one I've not got. I like him.
He'd look nice with the Deepkin.
Yeah, Lockyer Felhot.
Nice octopus Cthulhu kind of mask going on.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Right, that is that for the new and exciting stuff. So, let's see what people have been saying in the chat, because we did ask for any ways of spicing up races now that they've been through all these different things: ice, water, fire, and so on. I'm assuming this is related. Danny Ashby says bigger butt cheeks. You could do that with elves, couldn't you? You could have like the butt elves.
How many, Andy? How many new factions do they bring out a year, or how many sort of revamped armies or new factions do you think in the past 3 years since Age of Sigmar's come out?
Well, let's see. In the past 3 years, we've had Stormcast, Bloodbound, Fire Slayers, Sylvaneth, Overlords,
5.
the Daughters
Deepkin,
of
6.
Deepkin. The Seraphon
7.
got a nice new rebox and repackaging, but they didn't get any new models, so do they count?
Of what?
Would any of the old ones that have just been repackaged count, like the Seraphon and some of the Orc stuff?
All right, we'll count one of them as 1 then. So that's 8. So that's like 2.5 a year, isn't it?
Yeah, so if you include repacks, then you're looking at like 4 a year, probably. 2,
so
at least 2 original armies a year.
So I don't think there'll be any more original armies this year then. There'll probably just be some repacks.
You never know. Maybe later in the year we could see another one.
People are already talking about what the next race is going to be, and the rumour is it's some kind of goblins.
Well, we had a suggestion from Nathan99 who wants new sand race. So we lost the Tomb Kings, obviously.
Yeah.
So what could you do with sand?
Ooh. Sandworms? Like in Dune?
Well, you could certainly do that, like the kind of Beetlejuice worms. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
You could have people riding on the back of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to think what kind of like terrain inspired factions there are left that they haven't done already. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I'm thinking butt elves is the best idea.
But yeah, but bums aren't a
They're,
terrain.
they're Teclis's most shameful mistake. The Deepkin, they're fine. He'll bring those out into the spotlight now to cover up the shame of his butt elves that he tried to create in a lab. He tried to enlarge them to become gigantic warriors, but he only focused his magic inadvertently on very specific muscle groups, which resulted in these very large, kind of unbalanced, butt cheek swinging foes.
You've got swamps, haven't you? Swamp. Nicky Jennifer says tar monsters.
Tar monsters.
Yeah.
I'm not sure tar is really going to cut it as a fantastical element.
What about bush babies?
I think bushes are really just like mini Sylvaneth trees, really, aren't they?
I think that's it then. We can't think of any more.
So that means they might as well shut down now, GW, if they can't come up with anything else. I'm sure they're working on something. Let's see. We're being given phrases not to Google in the chat, so if anyone wants to look at that now, and then not Google those things for your own sanity. Dave Doge says sandwiches. I don't know if that's reference to a race. Oh, he then says sandwiches. Witches in the sand. Perhaps surrounded by a layer of bread on each side. Eating sandwiches on the beach is never a wise move, if you ask me, because if a grain of sand gets between any of the sandwich layers, it's a nightmare, isn't it? I'd say something more solid for beach food.
What about hill folk?
Hill folk.
Yes.
So how are the hills represented other than just butt cheeks?
They come out from mounds.
Like ant hills.
Yes. Or like moles.
Mole people.
Mole people, yeah. Mole people.
There you go. Trying to think if there are any fantasy races existing that are similar to that. I mean, we've already got these blind elves that would be quite similar to kind of underground race.
Mm-hmm. Or but caves. So we had caves. They come from the caves. And they're really hairy.
Maybe the Skaven have evolved into moles.
That's an interesting one. It's Skaven. It's the most popular, one of those popular races. Are they just going to get like new models, or are they going to have like a revamp, or are they going to have a new sub faction like Daughters of Cain? You know,
who knows? Mickey Jennifer says crab people. Well, Slanesh followers often have crab hands already, so I'm not sure whether that warrants an entirely new race, although it would be awesome to see crab people.
What about people from the valley?
So we've got hill people and now valley people.
Yes, valley and stream folk.
Stream folk.
They come from the streams and the valleys.
I'm not visualizing a fighting race here. You've got to be a bit more specific, I think. You can't just give us a place.
Okay. Well, we've got fire. We've got storms.
Stormcast.
Whirlpools.
Whirlpools.
What about coastline? The coast.
The High Coast Guard. I think we're really scraping the bottom of the barrel.
You can tell it's a Sunday night, can't you? It's a Sunday night. The million think tank is running on empty at the minute.
Yes, people are noticing in the chat that you're just naming geological features and adding people to the end of it.
Speaking of the $1 million think tank, Dan Adam from Paint All the Minis is going to do an interview with me, and we're going to have a little $1 million idea face-off, where he's going to come up with his best $1 million ideas against mine, and we're going to see what happens.
We'll find out whether you actually do have $1 million ideas, or whether we're all just humouring you and they are in fact all terrible.
Well, you know, GW are going to be tuning into that show, and within 12 to 18 months, you'll see it in the shelves.
Oh, here's one: ditch people, people that live in a ditch.
Yeah, Ray 13 says rock lobsters. Love that.
Rain people.
Rain people, yeah. Snowballs.
Okay. Snowballs. Snowballs what?
Sleet and snow. The sleet and snow people, or the ice shards. The hailstorm. Hailcast.
For anyone wondering, this is what it sounds like in Mr. Remington's brain all the time.
Well, okay, there's going to be something to do with light, isn't there? The sun folk. Or the light warriors.
And how would they work exactly?
They scorch you.
Does each one of them have like the little torch app on their phone?
Well,
just shine it in your face.
Yeah, there could be torch weapons that shine pure light.
I'm not sure that would be too effective against the blind Deepkin, though. Could give them a nasty sunburn, but sunburn doesn't usually take instantaneous effect and just melt you unless you are very, very close to the sun.
Okay, here's one. Based on ancient Hindu mythology, you've got the monkey race. So it's like a race of monkey men that sort of like go, but swing through trees. You know what I mean? So they're not flying and they're not on the ground. They're in between. They're sort of like Spider-Man, but without webs. Just.
I think we've had the best suggestion here from Danny. Rainbow people. And might I suggest that they have a slave race of leprechauns as well, who carry around their pots of gold.
I mean, leprechauns, love it. Leprechauns and gnomes, the forgotten races of fantasy.
Well, gnomes, indeed. I think gnomes have always struggled in any fantasy setting. They have to really differentiate themselves somehow from dwarves. Because really they're just looked at as the dwarves that don't have quite as impressive beards, and kind of they tinker with things instead of being tough, don't they?
Yeah, they're illusionists, aren't they? They're masters of illusion.
Yeah, they underappreciated, I would say.
Yeah. What about the mud folk?
The mud folk.
Mud men.
So, are they just humans covered in mud? And they may occasionally just fling mud at people.
Monsters. They drag you. Okay, here we go. Like quicksand.
Can I just ask, why haven't GW hired you yet? They could just transplant you into any creative meeting.
To be honest,
I feel like the ideas would just flow.
I think GW pay minimum wage, and I'm obviously quite an experienced thinker, so I'll be on top dollar there. And that's probably a problem right there. You know what I mean? They'll see me as someone that they need to be sort of wary of, because within a couple of years I'll be in the upper echelons of the company. So, you know what I mean? That's the only thing I could think of as to why they haven't.
Here's one. A race of giants. Not just the giants that are available right now, but an entire race of them. Like different types of giants. There you go. Like ogres, but even bigger. What do you think of that?
Yeah, but they're already gargants, aren't they?
Yeah, but more of them. Each with different kinds of pants to pick people up and stuff in.
I think we've just ran out. We've just ran out of races. We've gone through every permutation. I mean, no one said jelly yet. The jelly men.
Oh, there's a comment here. Cat people. That's a new one. Kind of a Thundercats vibe going on there.
Yeah.
Should we look at some painted miniatures now?
Yeah, please.
I think the well has run dry. Okay, here we go. This is from Caspian, and this is a giant who has Thug Life tattooed on him.
Yeah, he needs to have a bit more bling on him, doesn't he? He needs to have some like gold chains and stuff around him. I love that hat.
He's looking very gangster-like, isn't he? His gun tattoo there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would have gone fully 2-pack with him.
I think that's what he's actually going for. I think that's what he named the giant.
Yeah, it's sick. It's wicked.
And this is more from Caspian. A couple of spiders, which are looking very icy, very cool, if you will, very chilled.
The ice spiders.
And I don't like a spider that has any kind of shenanigans going on its back, because it makes me think, you've seen those videos of the spiders crawling along and then suddenly billions of baby spiders run away from its back. The mother just carries around millions of babies with it at all times.
I think they really could have diversified the Spider Fan Grot race. Really, like, fleshed it out a lot more with different kinds of spiders. I mean, think about all the sort of species of spiders that are out there. There's hairy ones, there's translucent ones, there's big ones, there's little ones, there's, you know what I mean? There's like giant shell-ob ones, but they've only released like the Arachnorak, these fellas, and the Goblin Big Boss. I think Spider Fan Grot could have been a.
Well, there's still potential for a full Spider Fang Grot army.
Yeah, I think they should do it.
I would like to see that.
They had those grots, didn't they, from the Silver Tower? But I didn't really like those. You know, the little. Can't remember what they're called. They look a bit silly.
The Scuttlings.
Yeah.
I thought they were cool.
Yeah.
Right. This is from Robert, and this is a Shade Spire. Little warband here. And I like the basing here. It's simple but effective. When you put a variety of colours on a base like that, different skulls and the blood effects running through there.
Yeah, it looks
nice,
like
tasty.
a proper A-team band, doesn't it? Like that. Them guys look cool.
Wide variety of skin tones going on. I can see 3 distinct ones at least here.
Yeah, I love the Blackbeard guy at the front. He's cool.
Very tasty. And Brad has painted these. There are more units in this army, but if you want to see those in full detail, you can go over to the Indian Rim Show Facebook group, and they are one of the posts on there. But obviously these are the Forge World Chaos Dwarves, which are incredible models if you've ever seen them in the Forge World cabinets or painted in real life. They are. The whole range is just amazing, isn't it? Pricey, but amazing. Next, this is from Sam Jones, of course, one of the resident pro level painters. This is his Nagash, which he's been working on for quite a while and finally completed. And I mean, what more can be said about his paintwork that we haven't already said? Yeah,
that's phenomenal. Phenomenal paint job. He spent a long time on that, but it's so clean. It's not overdone. It looks so simple because it's so clean, but it's not simple. It's just really beautifully done. So
I've been asking him for advice on painting ghosts because his always look so smooth.
And maybe does he spray them?
He uses a lot of very thin washes, apparently, in specific.
Oh, we're against thin washes and 2 base coats, aren't we?
Well, I've actually
Just
got
take
some Lamian medium right here, which I'm planning to use on my
I bought some of that.
halfling riders. So we'll see.
I've never used it, but yeah, I always mean to do it, but I'm all about the speed now, baby. Get them things done.
That's what I heard. And this is from Andrew, and this is the new Azerite ruins with the Stormcast lady from Shadespire in there. And the Azerite ruins, they come in a kind of sandy colour, isn't it? The plastic.
Is it me, Andy, or do the ruins look a bit silly? Do they look a bit too small and toyish?
I think they actually look pretty cool, and you can stack them on top of each other, to make them taller.
But she can't actually fit through those doorways. It's almost like they're Hobbit-sized ruins.
Well, if we assume they're sized for normal humans, they'd probably not go up to the height of a Stormcast Eternal. So if this is the door here that's been bricked up, perhaps.
Well, it's no wonder they're ruins.
About there.
It's no wonder they're ruins, because the Stormcast can't get through any of the doors, so they have to smash them down, and the Free Peoples have to keep bricking it up again.
I actually think they look quite nice, and they're fairly inexpensive as well. I was thinking of possibly getting some just as nice bits of scatter terrain to go around the table. I think they'd look good on my. They'd look good on my kind of heavenly battle mat, I think.
Yeah, you could cut it up and make it into basin as well. I don't know. I think the detail's wicked. I just think it should have been a bit bigger, maybe. Just me.
Mm-hmm. And these are from someone named Remington.
Now, what can I say about these?
I immediately noticed that you've been clamouring all night for hairier races to appear, and you've actually put hair onto your creatures here.
I mean, I don't know. It's not for me to talk about the quality of my own painting. I leave that to the fans. But I can tell you that these were sort of quite groundbreaking when they were first made up. If you zoom in on the head there, that's it's like aged dead hair, isn't it? Still coming out, and then you've got like a crypt ghoul coming out of the belly of the crypt horror, and another crypt ghoul biting another one's arm. And I actually started painting these in 2012. So this is part of my undead army, which I'm going to put up for sale soon, because I just never played them. I played them once with you, and then we didn't really actually lay all the models on the battlefield, did we? We did the game where it was just one necromancer each to start with, and then you can summon more stuff.
Yeah, didn't you get totally whooped in that game?
Yeah, I think you whooped me by turn 3, so I never even brought on my miniatures. So yeah, that was fun. But these guys I'm really proud of these guys.
Very tasty. And are you selling this army at all in the future? Did you say?
Yes. I've just been finishing off the last few models.
So if anyone wants to make any initial inquiries on Mr. Remington's size of his army or the pricing, you should get onto the Facebook group and you can message him from there.
Yeah, one of a kind. I mean, the only thing that I think he's missing from his army, it's got pretty much one of everything from the old Vampire Count's army. It doesn't have a monster, though. It doesn't have like a Terrorgeist or like a Under Dragon, or like a Vargulf, but it's got everything else. It's got like 60 skeletons, like 50 zombies, like loads of Graveguard, loads of ghouls, Vargeist, Crypt Horrors, loads of Necromancers, loads of vampire characters, Banshees, Hex Wraiths, bit of everything else. It's like a minimum strength, what do you call it? Minimum strength unit? Army?
Multiple small units.
Yes, MSU army. Bit of everything.
We've got a question here. Dead Gamer wants to know why they're on strange square tiles, and I can tell you that it's because they were built in a time before GW, with their health and safety gone mad, switched to round safety bases that no one could take their eye out on the corner. That's what happened. And this is one of yours as well.
Yeah, this was my first. In fact, this is the first one I did. This was actually the worst one I did. They all got better after this.
Have you put up pictures of the newer ones? Because I couldn't see any.
No, not yet. I will do. Yeah, they were quite cool to paint. I figured out like a quicker way of doing them. But yeah, I suppose it's normal for everyone, isn't it? The first one you paint is sort of a tester model, isn't it?
And what I can see here, normally you wouldn't see the miniature this large in front of your eye. So often when someone is good at painting, when you look really close at something and zoom in on a particular part of it, you think, what's going on here? There's a bit of colour just splashed on there that you wouldn't think should be there. But then when you zoom out, it actually makes sense. Because in real life, colours do behave that way, but you don't get a full sense of it when you zoomed in too far.
Yeah, my Dark Elf army has sea bases, so it's got that sort of vibrant blue. And I did originally make that a blue base, but it kind of clashed with the snake skin and the hair, so then I had to change it a bit and put more like swampy look. And then I got loads of rock salt, real rock salt, and put that on the base.
Yeah, so the fact that you're using salt, I would say that's going. A lot of that new Nurgle stuff is going to have to stay away, because they do have some kind of slug and snaily type troops that would not want to go near that. That probably does instant mortal wounds to slug units.
After I'd already finished this one, I looked at some of the. I've been on Instagram a lot, and if you go like hashtag Daughters of Cain, you see all people's pictures of their Daughters of Cain models, and most of them done. They're the purple bit in the middle. Most of them did it as armor, and after I seen that, I thought, "Oh, why did I do that?" But then I realised my Dark Elf army is mainly purple, so I had to keep a purple theme in there somewhere. So that's why that's purple. But yeah, they're all right to paint. Cool models.
Right, now this is obviously not a close-up, but this is from Lee. And he posted everything that he's painted for his Army of Order in the last 12 months. And I can safely say I haven't painted that many models in the last 12 months. Mr. Remington, have you painted that sheer mass of miniatures over the past 12 months?
Yes, probably slightly more, to be fair.
Have you?
No joke.
Well, you have been actually a bit of a painting machine when you haven't been spending 700 hours on Total War Warhammer.
I've still been playing it loads, you know. I bloody love it. I'm on the Mortal Realms campaign, and I'm playing Bretonia, loving it, and I'm playing on very hard, and it's bloody really hard. And the Skaven have become like the most powerful race in it, and they're always very treacherous. Yeah, it's really good, really addictive. Still a great game. Can't wait for number 3 to come out. And we're going to see ogres, hopefully. So yeah.
And so this army, if you want to see some close-ups here, there is a lot more on the Facebook group.
That's a mega army, that, isn't it? It's got dwarves at the back too. Sky dwarves.
Yeah, there's Overlords, there's Fire Slayers, there's Stormcast, and there is Sylvaneth. And is there anything else in there that I haven't spotted? There may be some free people at the back, or Seraphon, possibly.
See, with the amount of models we've got, we could easily do a battle of this size, couldn't we? Each force. Do you think it'd be fun?
No.
You don't.
I think it would be fun to set up the battle. But
yeah.
I think once you've got into about turn 3, I think it would be a logistical nightmare.
What if you did it so it's like 10 turns instead of maximum 6?
Well, if you had multiple people playing per side, it would make it easier. I would say that.
Yeah, I guess. If you had only 6 turns, then each unit could only do maybe 1 or 2 important things. Really, in the battle, you know. Don't know. It depends what.
Mickey Jennifer says purple is the best colour, and there is a lot of purple on display here. It's interesting how all these different races are kind of themed to match, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't see that very often, but it looks pretty cool. And finally, This is from Mickey Genver, and it's a close-up of a very, I think it's a Nurgly type face. But this is an extreme close-up.
I mean, that's awesome, isn't it? It's awesome. It's almost like a canvas painting.
It is. There are some people who can paint that way. There are a lot of people who came from canvas or other kinds of flat painting into miniature painting, and there are definitely a lot of lessons from that world that can be brought in. Every piece of the miniature is like its own work of art on its own, the way it's got so many different colours in each tiny piece of the model. Nothing at all simple about any of this paintwork.
Yeah, Mickey is such a phenomenal painter. I mean, she must have enough Nurgle stuff now to field an army. I don't think she plays the game. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think you ought to start playing it now, Mickey. Right?
There you go. The Remington challenge has been laid down there. Right. Okay, then stop with the old screen share because we've been through all the images. So we're coming towards the end of the show, and I would assume that we'll probably do another one in the next few weeks, episode 100, which we're going to have to line up some juicy things for, aren't we? Because we still owe the audience a prize, actually, from the What the Hell Is That competitions. We've got a big list of people who won those competitions. So we're going to have to give away a prize. And with it being the 100th episode, we'll try and maybe get some guests, perhaps. We'll look into that.
Yeah.
And if anyone has any suggestions for what you would like to see on episode 100, leave that in the permanent comments after the show, not in the chat. And we'll refer to that. And if you want to see any of the old segments from the past brought back, if you want to see something new and spicy and original, I'm assuming you don't want to see Nerd Confessions or Remington's $1 Million Idea, because I think they've both been run into the ground by now.
I'm surprised you've not mentioned Witchcoven, which made its debut on our Facebook page to a phenomenal response. It was a 6-part adventure with photos, in which you, the audience, get to decide the fate of Andy the Ungor at the end. Maybe it's time we actually turn that into a live roleplay adventure.
Well, you know what I think you should do first? I think you should take the adventures of Andy the Ungor and narrate the images and put it up as a video on your channel.
That's awesome. Love it.
And then perhaps we'll have Witchcoven, the Covening, next, as our next roleplay adventure, after the Forest of Rem was such a smash hit.
That was amazing. That was groundbreaking too, wasn't it? Amazing.
It was. We do nothing but break ground. We break the ground, and then other people come and set up their little tents on it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's,
Some people only walk the beaten path, don't they? We go off-road.
So, what you been up to, Andy? Last couple of months. You've been a bit, what you been up to? Apart from exercising.
I have been painting, just not necessarily Age of Sigmar stuff. I've been working on a lot of stuff for Dead Zone, actually.
Yeah.
We're going to be building a new table for that, which is going to have subterranean elements to it.
Wow.
And I've been preparing my Kings of War armies, adding to those as time goes on.
So what you got in Kings of War? You got Goblin army.
I've got my goblins, I've got my undead. Yeah. And I use my Stormcasters ogres.
Okay.
I haven't played too many games with them, though, because I didn't have the most diverse troop set up. But I have bought more Stormcast recently. I got the extra long range shooty guys with the big crossbows and the birds, which I can use as something. And the Griffhounds, I can use them as cavalry as well in the army.
Yeah.
So that's going to be nice, adding to that. And looking around the room, have I been working on anything else? I was doing some airbrushing today, actually, to do some base coats on various things, including these for Dead Zone as well, which are very small purple people, which aren't painted yet.
What's that? It's like a little
skink. It's for the Dead Zone Rebs faction. which are like a ragtag band of all different races.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to see pictures of them, you can look on my personal Facebook group, which is not related to this show, which is called Andy 2D6 Orange Wargaming, I believe. So you can check that out if you want to see non-Age of Sigmar stuff. I don't think there's a Remington personal Facebook group, though, is there?
Yeah, there's Remington Steel on Facebook.
There's the
And pretty
Remington
much-
Steel account. You can actually add him as a friend because he's a man of...
Yeah. I
So,
pretty much...
he's not picky either. He'll accept anybody.
I literally accept anyone. I really don't care. You know, I'm not like you. You know, you're too exclusive, Andy. I can't share Andy and Rem Facebook posts.
Can't you?
No, won't let me.
I'll have to look into the settings on that.
Please do. Please do.
As far as...
it's hard to... Andy, listen. I know what you're doing. You're beating around the bush, but it's your turn to sing. There's no getting away from it because I've been singing my heart out last 3 episodes. Now, obviously, going to sing a lot on the 100th episode. I mean, not the last, but the 100th episode. This is episode 99. People demand you to sing up.
People demand that I sing one of my incredibly high-pitched, entirely improvised songs, do they?
Uh-huh.
Well, I suppose I could give a couple of verses.
Good lad.
And then when that's over, I'll hand things over to you to play the official outro with instrumentation as well.
Okay.
So, in fact, if audience members want to give lyrics for Mr. Remington's song after I've finished mine, then feel free to drop them in now. So you'll have to sit through my high-pitched singing to get to it, though. So I don't know how many people are going to be sticking around, but the audience level might actually increase when I start singing. I am well known for my musical prowess. Okay. So before I pierce everyone's eardrums, don't forget to check out the Facebook group and all the other links in the description to all the various social media things. And next time you see us like this, it'll be episode 100, which will be very, very exciting, I assure you. So, here we go. I am preparing to sing, which means we need Remington silence for a short while. Are we ready, folks? Get those speakers turned all the way up. Since Rem was a little boy, he only had one wish. While playing with his little toys, he demanded men of fish. Scaly men with gills who could breathe underwater. A little girl approached Rem, and he taught her all about the fishmen that never came to pass. Remington, Remington on the bottom of the sea. The Deepkin came to fruition, and then so did he. I think that's enough of that.
Oh, that was amazing, Andy. Thank you so much. Jesus. All right. Andy and Rem are back in town. Everyone's so happy about that. Andy is singing once again. And Remington's gonna buy a new hat. It's 99 episodes of the Andy and Remington show. 99 episodes of the Andy and Remington show. Ooh la la la, la 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 la. It's the 99th episode of the Andy and Remington Show. Thanks to everyone. Yeah, thanks to Dave Doggy and Dead Gamer. Don't forget Mickey Jenver and Nathan99 and Danny Ashby, Dice Miniature Paint Guy is the best. Even Demon Lizard from outer space. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's the 99th episode of the Andy and Remington Show. 99th episode of our show.
Not quite as good as my song, but not bad.